Today's lecture is on essentials in Buddha Dhamma in simple terms. Buddha Dhamma is not a religion. It is a way of living. It's an art of living. Buddha was a human being like you, me, or anybody else. In his early life, Buddha was a prince in India and named Siddhartha, and he was the son of Suddhodana, who was a provincial king in India. And he was living in a palace, and he had apparently 3 palaces for the 3 seasons. And he had all the comforts in his palace. But when he went out of the palace, he observed or recognized and realized the diseases. He realized the realities of life, such as the old age of life, the diseases we have to face in our lives, and finally the death, the funerals he have noticed. And also he has seen a dignified hermit who has renounced the world, walking around. Then he had been very much impressed by the hermit, and he has wanted to follow suit, follow the same path what the hermit was doing. And so he left all his comforts in the palace and took up robes, and he became an ascetic and went looking for the real truth in life. He struggled hard for 6 years, and then finally he found enlightenment. He found his Buddhahood at the age of 35. He found that there is dukkha or unhappiness all around. He realized birth is dukkha, birth is causing unhappiness, aging, illnesses in life is causing unhappiness, and death is causing unhappiness. He realized that the sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair as dukkha, which we have to face in life. Then separation of loved ones is dukkha. Association with unbeloved ones or the people whom you don't like to work with, if you have to work with such characters, then it is causing dukkha. Not getting what you want in life is dukkha. Like that, the whole series of existing in this world is being realized as dukkha. But in addition to dukkha, he spoke of 2 other characteristics of existence. That is impermanence in life, impermanence or the transient nature of things, ceasing nature of things. And he spoke of the unhappiness, as said earlier, and also the non-self or the beyond self nature of things. That is actually, it's in Pali, they say anicca, dukkha, anatta. Anicca is the impermanent nature, dukkha is the suffering or the misery in nature, and then anatta is the non-self or beyond self nature of dharmata. Dharmata are, say dharmata could be said as doctrines or norms or phenomena. So these things, phenomenon, those are beyond self type of thing. So of these 3, anicca, dukkha, anatta, anicca is impermanent, so then things are changing anyway, so you can't do much with it. You can't do anything about the change because changes are occurring. Then if the things are beyond you, anatta, still it's beyond you, so you can't do much. Only thing you can do something. Sorry. if only thing you can do something is about the misery, something you can, or change is misery. And there's a way of changing or seizing it or overcoming the misery. So Buddha, to get over this dukkha, he found a way, and that's called the Four Noble Truths, or the Chaturarya Satya. So the Four Noble Truths he found is, the first noble truth is that there is the existence of unhappiness in this world. That's the first noble truth. Second noble truth is there's a cause for the unhappiness in this world. There's a cause. Third one is there is the existence of cessation or the extinction of suffering. There's an end to it. That's profoundly said. Then the fourth noble truth is there's a path to the cessation of suffering, and that path is, there's a standard path which Buddha described how to find the cessation of the misery, the suffering. And that path is called Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Ashtangika Magga. So the Noble Eightfold Path is consists of the right view, the right concept, right speech, right actions, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So this is in Pali, they say Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Jiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, the 8 things, of which he categorized to 3 broader groups, that is right speech, right actions, and right livelihood as sila, which is the moral conduct. The right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, as that is broadly classified as samadhi, that's the right concentration. And the first 2, the right view and right concept, he referred to as panya group. Right. Of which right, of the second one, right concept, is consisting of, that is Samma Sankappa comprises of 3 things. That is the concept of letting go, and the concept of non-hatred, and concept of non-violence. That is concept of the Samma Sankappa, I repeat, Samma Sankappa comprises of 3 things. That's Nekkhamma Sankappa, Avyapada Sankappa, Avihinsa Sankappa. So Nekkhamma Sankappa is the concept of letting go. Avyapada, Vyapada is hatred. So Avyapada is non-hatred. So concept of non-hatred, prevailing non-hatred. And then the concept of Avihinsa Sankappa, Avihinsa, the third one, is non-violence. So this is the way of letting go. When you are letting go of your attachments, I'll come to it, how it is being done. But the letting go has to be done with non-hatred and non-violence. So when I say I'm coming to it, the second noble truth is there is the existence of the cause for suffering. The cause, there's a cause for it. That cause is attachment to desires. That's the problem. Attachment to desires. And this, I say, the desires are of 3 types. That's Kamatanna, Bhavatanna, Vibhavatanna. That's Kamatanna is the desire for sensual pleasures. Bhavatanna is the desire to have or be. And Vibhavatanna is the desire to destroy the existing thing because you are unhappy with the present setup. So you want to get rid of it. So, so people are suffering because they are because of attachment to these desires. So if you are having a desire, if you are having a suffering, or you are suffering misery, you will have to say, work out what the cause for it is. Cause is the attachment of which type of desire you are having, whether your desire is to have sensual pleasures or to desire to have, to be, or to have. When I say to be, is like I want to be the president of a certain society or country or whatever, then that's a desire, bhavatanna. Vibhavat, and also desire to have or be. Have is, if you want to have a palatial house, that's a desire. That's a bhavatanna. And then if you want to have a Cadillac car or something, that's a bhavatanna. Vibhavatanna is you are unhappy with the setup, present setup, and you have to destroy it. So, so I should say kamatanna and bhavatanna, that is the desire to sensual pleasures and the desire to have or be, is with, you are working with greed. That's a lobha, working with greed. And the desire to demolish it, vibhavatanna, is you are acting out of hatred because you you don't like it. That's why you hate it. I don't like it, that you want to destroy it. So, so these attachments to desires are being held with either greed, lobha, or hatred, or with the feeling of I on mine. So the factor of I coming in, and you want to achieve it. So that's desire. That desire is really, that attachment to the desire is the one. So if you forcefully if you could let go with samma sankappa, that's the right concept, let go of this attachment with non-hatred and non-violence, that's the way to go to avoid dukkha. Now, there are five natural laws of existence in this world. 5 natural laws. When you are existing in this world, you have to face this. The 5 natural laws are, in Pali they say, the niyama is the law. Ittu niyama, bija niyama, dhamma niyama, chitta niyama, and kamma niyama. That's I'll explain. Ittu niyama is law of seasons. Law of seasons means seasons are coming, the winters are coming, summers are coming. These things come in a certain order, certain pattern. Whether you like it or not, these are happening in this world. Bija niyama, the law of species. Law of species, that is what I try to say is, if you want oranges, oranges are coming from an orange tree. If you want mangoes would come from a mango tree. So particular type. There people are trying to do hybridization, but those are not successful. But naturally, if you want a particular type, it comes from a particular particular variety. Oranges are coming from orange plant. So there's a certain law involved. That's called law of species, bija niyama. Then dhamma niyama, the law of nature. Law of nature is like, say, famous, the law of gravity, gravitational force. There's a law. You're being pulled, gravitational law, gravitational force. Then things like that. Plus, those are the physical ones. Then there's the philosophical ones, like what they call Atalo Dhamma. That's like anyone who is living in this world, may it be Buddha or any Arahat or anybody, he'll have to face these 8 things. That is, he'll have to face labha alabha, that's gain or loss. If you're doing a business, there would be profits and losses type of thing. There's gain and loss. There'll be fame and ill fame. That's it. Yasa ayasa, fame and ill fame. There'll be ninda prasansa, the insults and praises. So people may be insulting you, you may have to, people may be talking good of you, praising you. So ninda prasansa, sukha dukkha, you will have to face happiness and unhappiness. That's natural. So that's coming under the law of nature. Then the law of chitta niyama, law of consciousness. Law of consciousness is again, it's working on a certain way. Like say, if you say Peradeniya University, the buildings come to my mind. How it comes, I don't know, but it comes. Or if there's a particular thing happened 10 years ago, the full thing, the full drama comes in my mind. How it happened, how it originated, how each act took place. Everything is stored somewhere in our mind. So it's a law of consciousness. It's happening. No. Then the fifth one is law of karma. Law of karma is again, if you do karma, there'll be karma vipaka. There'll be the results out of it. So if you do good karmas, there'll be good results or good vipakas. If there's bad karma, there'll be bad results. So because of this, that's a certain karma law of karma. So of these 5 laws of existence, the first 4, that is Ituniyama, Bijaniyama, Dhammaniyama, and Chittaniyama, the law of seasons, law of species, law of nature, and law of consciousness, it's all happening. We have no control of it. The only thing we could do something or control is law of karma. If you purposely avoid bad karmas and do good karmas, then you are bound to reap good results, good vipaka. So Buddha specified, Buddha found out, he said, while living in this world, we, with every sensory experience, every sensory input we get, we experience in this world. When I say sensory inputs are, when you are seeing something, there's some input coming through your eyes. You happen to see a flower or whatever, nice scenery, there's something coming into your mental system. When you hear a noise or sound, music, there's something coming in. When you smell a rose or something, you get certain input. When you taste something, good food, tasty food, sour or whatever, you experience something. Like that, when you are having a comfortable chair, you sit comfortably, you experience something. Like that, with each of these sensory inputs, we develop karma. That's what Buddha found. And Buddha said, Chetanaham bhikkhave kammam vadami, that is, dear bhikkhus, I declare, Chetana, intentions, is karma. If you, with every sensory experience, if there is any intention being created, then we develop karma. And then karma, if you have good karmas or bad karmas, and that karma will come out with the results, the vipaka, and thereby we extend our samsara. So we, the mundane people, accumulate karma with living in this world. We accumulate every sensory experience, we accumulate karma. And right. So Buddha explained another phenomenon, very important phenomenon, called dependent co-origination. In Pali, they say paticcasamuppada. That is what he said, because of this paticcasamuppada, that dependent co-origination, that's how we are extending this samsara, and by developing karma. So in short, in paticcasamuppada or dependent co-origination, I'll just slightly touch on it. When you experience something with sensory inputs, what happens is these sense impressions, because of these sense impressions, we get feelings. Every sensory experience, say you seeing a nice flower, that means you get a feeling. So feelings could be of three types. You'll get a happy feeling, unhappy feeling, or neutral feeling. If you see a nice flower, you get a happy feeling. If you see a bad thing, horrible accident or something, it's an unhappy feeling. And there could be certain things which are neutral, neither happy or unhappy, right? So with these feelings, through feelings, we get craving. Because if you see a nice thing, you get, you develop a craving, you develop a liking towards it. That's craving, it's tanha. Tanha is also of three types. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, I was talking about it earlier. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. If kama tanha is the desires to please the sensual pleasures, to have sensual pleasures. Bhava tanha is the desire to be or have, and vibhava tanha is to destroy the existing setup. So through feelings, you get craving. Through craving, we get attached to it. We're talking about this attachment. And then the attachment is clinging, upadana. Through clinging we end up with the karma process of developing karma, right? That's what. So in order not to develop this karma, we have to possess a super mundane chitta, or the super mundane mind. Super mundane mind, that's what we need. That's what Buddha found. The super mundane mind, when we ordinary people, we develop this karma because we look at it in an ordinary mind. But the super mundane chitta is a sort of an elevated mind, right? And that is associated with what we call panya. The Pali word is panya, but it's a prajna. Prajna is the Sanskrit word, but it's wisdom. Panya could be stated as wisdom, and it's a sort of a intuitive insight or knowledge. Vipassana, intuitive insight knowledge one needs to develop. Yeah, develop to possess this power, to possess this supermundane chitta. So that is an integral part of the Noble Eightfold Path. As I explained, the Noble Eightfold Path is broadly divided into Sila, Samadhi, Panya. That Panya is the one which is needed for us to have achieve this supermundane chitta, supermundane mind. And Buddha prescribed us to follow a certain process, right, in realization of Nibbana. So in order to develop this Panya, we were instructed to follow the standard procedure. It is called the 4 foundations of mindfulness, the Satara Satipatthana, the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And it is basically Anapanasati, that's you concentrate on your in-breath and out-breath. And that and then in the process, it's a it will be, it's a subject by itself. So this is something, a methodical practice one has to seriously get into. We have to get into, very seriously get into it. And it's a methodical practice one has to follow and get accustomed to. And that's why we go to meditation centers and get trained under a well-trained guru or master. And it's the well-trained masters are very difficult to find. Nevertheless, you could still find them. A good master will guide you properly. will definitely guide you properly. And it's the four foundations of mindfulness is, the four is the contemplations of the body, kaya anupasana, contemplation of the vedana or the feelings, contemplation of the chittanupasana, contemplation of the mind, and then the other one, contemplations of the mind objects, Dhammanupasana. It's called Satara Satipatthana. The Satara is Kaya Anupasana, Vedana Anupasana, Dhammanupasana, Chittanupasana. So then, if this methodology of following the four foundations of mindfulness, it's a 16 steps stipulated by Buddha. It's said in Anapana Sati Sutta, then Satara Satipatthana Sutta, or Ananda Sutra, or there are stipulated 16 steps. If we have followed these 16 steps correctly, as per Buddha's instructions, and done with each of the contemplations, and they say first 4 contemplations out of the 16 is Kaya Anupasana, contemplation of the body, and then the 5th to 8th contemplations are the Vedana Anupasana, contemplation of the feelings, and then 9th to 12th is the contemplation of the Chittanupasana, contemplation of the mind, and then from 13th to 60 is contemplation of the mind objects, Dhammanupasana. If you had done it correctly, then Panya would pop up. Panya would pop up. Popping up is, in Pali, they say Panya Uddapadi. Uddapadi is popping up. If they say Panya Uddapadi, Aloko Uddapadi, Jnanang Uddapadi, meaning Panya will come up. And Aloko, light would come up, or Jnanang Uddapadi, knowledge would come. These things, the meaning of Uddapadi is something where it's like, I could say, it's like sleep. Sleep, you can't buy it from a shop. That is, sleep happens if there's the fulfillment of conditions, certain conditions required, then sleep happens. That's why a little baby, when you are putting a baby to sleep, he might turn around or hug a pillow or do something. All those things he does, the baby does, to fulfill the conditions. Once the conditions are fulfilled, sleep happens and he'll go to sleep. Have a nice sleep. But you can't make somebody to sleep. So you have to fulfill the conditions. Likewise, you can't get panya. Panya comes as a result of fulfillment. That's what it is. If the conditions are satisfied, then it happens. And this panya is illumination without defilements. I repeat, illumination without defilements. So illumination, right? It's illumination without defilements. What are defilements? Defilements are lobha, dvesha, moha. That's greed. Lobha is greed. Dosha is hatred. And moha is, because of me, the feeling of I and mine. So if you have the feeling of I and mine, my things, my pride, my whatever. So if someone has these greed, hatred, greed means you want to possess it. Greed, I like it, I want to have it. Greed. Desha, dosa is hatred. I don't like it. I don't like it. If you don't dislike it, it's again that. So it's illumination without it's illumination without defilement. So in other words, panya is void of, it's voidness of greed, hatred, and the feeling of I and mine. So if one could look at the whole world without these feelings of greed, hatred, and the if you are void of I and mind, this place is a wonderful place. This is how the Buddha has looked, Buddha or the Arahats have looked at the world. They have looked at the world with voidness of I and mind. Then what Panya opens our mind, that person's mind, to the experience of selflessness. I repeat, experience, he'll be experiencing when someone is when someone is looking at the whole world without greed, without hatred, and without the feeling of I and mind, he is looking at it, experiencing selflessness. Right? So it is the great liberating jewel of Buddha's enlightenment, the Nibbana. So this is what we should aim at. The method was related to us by Buddha 2,600 years ago. And the thing is, we don't follow it correctly. We have to stick to those methodology and then and reap the results. And I would like to just come out with an analogy, and that is some long years back, say 53 years ago, at a high school, we did an experiment in light. It is a prism experiment in physics, where a certain glass prism is there, and a ray of light, colorless ray of light, comes and goes through the prism, and the colorless ray is divided into 7 colors, like the colors of the rainbow, like violet, indigo, blue, yellow, orange, and red. Those colors is falling on the wall. So when we are doing the physics experiment, the physics master first taught us how to get these colors. The colorless torch light goes through, and then it divided into 7 colors, and that is the angle of incidence should be more than the critical angle. If you send the rays in according to that methodology, then you could see the results. And these results could be done not only by the physics master, then later we did it, I did it, everybody else in the class did it. So if you follow the methodology, you could get the results. And I would like to compare this with the Swakato Gatha of when you worship Dhamma. It's Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko. Sandittika means you can see the results can be got immediately. Sanditiko, you can see the results instantaneously almost. Sanditiko. Akaliko, it's irrespective of time. That is, if that physics experiment is done today, now you can see. If it is done 10 hours after, you can see. If it is done 10 years after or 100 years after, still if you follow the same practical methods, then you could see the results. Akaliko. Ehipasiko, that means here, come and see. You can see the 7 colors on the wall. Likewise, the Buddha's methodology, if you follow, you could get the Panya, realize, Akaliko. Ehipasiko, come and see. Pachatta, Opanaiko, it's crystal clear. Oh, it's very clear. Pachatta Vettabo Vinyohiti, you have to realize it yourself with full convincing. And you have to realize it. That realization is God. If you see the practical, if you do it, you realize it. So likewise, Buddha Dhamma could be realized. That's what we have got to do. So thank you very much for listening.
Vishvavahini.